Sverige! The first heat of Melodifestivalen 2018 took place in Karlstad this evening. There was a lot of hype, a lot of build-up, and we've got to talk about it. Are you ready? Let's do this!
Let's do this!
Now, I don't know about y'all, but I was a little disappointed. Melfest is always like the highlight of my weekend, my Eurovision calendar. I expected explosions, and it was more of a damp squib, a whimper. And towards the end, I was like, is Malta starting? Because I want to see something good. In any case, we should first talk about the first direct qualifier, John Lundvik. Angus, it's your turn.
I think with John Lundvik, it's really about his voice is the reason that he got through. I don't think the song itself is actually particularly remarkable. It was kind of a pastiche of things we've seen before. So there was the Sanne Nielsen Light Matrix. He had the whole piano piece. I mean, that song has been heard like 1,000 times at the Eurovision Song Contest. It's something that we all know well. It's really easy to tell. His voice is great. I think rather similar to Jessica Andersson, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, it is in the final, but it will finish near the bottom of the pile. I think it's more everyone is instantly in a Eurovision mood, so you think that sounds really Eurovision, you will go for it. He seems like a really nice guy. It was very sweet that he was like tearing up as he was performing it in his reprise. But yeah, I don't expect this to do that well at the final.
He kind of made Martina Barta's My Turn from Eurovision 2017 look like a rave. It was that dull and boring, I thought. But yeah, like Angus said, it was his voice that won it for him because the song itself isn't particularly noteworthy. It doesn't stand out. It's full of cliches. We've heard it before. But there's a market for this kind of thing. Like John Legend is a big star and John Lundvik is kind of cut from the same cloth. He could be a Swedish version. But the thing was that there weren't that many really outstanding songs in the semi, so he got it easy. Like, I think in semis and other years where it was tougher, he wouldn't be in the final.
Yeah, I'm just going to kind of echo what you said. We had the golden pyro shower at the end. We had the singer on the piano. We had the shot where you see the audience with lights. This was Eurovision by numbers. However, I think what set him apart was definitely his sincerity that you touched on. He was welling up, he was feeling it, but even when he was singing it, you felt like he thought this was special and he was feeling the emotion, and that's great that he's connected with his song so much. And when he won and was like almost passing out on the floor, I was actually so happy for him. It was really sweet. It seems like he didn't think necessarily it was a sure thing, even if there's been a little bit of buzz around him lately. So I think he's a nice guy, and for that reason alone, I'm happy he went through. The song is not one I would download. It's not one I would play at my wedding. It is one I would hear at my friend's cheesy wedding down the street, and then afterward I'd be like, oh my God, that was so beautiful. There is a market for it. Wedding Cake Realness. I wish him all the best. He's a super great guy. We move on to the other qualifier, Benjamin Ingrosso. And I'm just going to kick this off by saying I did not like the song. I don't like this register. I find it really grating. I find it very throwback. However, I loved the staging. That was really cool, intimate in his own world, lots of light. I took random screen grabs. It was red, white, and blue, bleu, blanc, rouge. It was real. I don't know. I just loved that visual. And I would have voted for his camera director if I could. I think they gave all their resources in this heat to Benjamin Ingrosso. This was just so much more engaging visually, which ultimately helped cover up a so-so song. This wasn't polishing a turd, but it wasn't polishing a diamond. It was like polishing the kitchen pans. You got to do it. You're glad it's done, but I don't get excited about pans. Angus.
No, completely. I think this was the only sort of standout moment in this semi-final, and it's kind of been like a general trend because last year, there was kind of really nano. Ace Wilder a little bit, but not much. The year before, Ace Wilder and Robin Bengtsson were both super impressive. This year it was just about Benjamin Ingrosso. You saw that in all the polls on our site. He was the only act anyone was actually interested or hyped about. And I think performance-wise, at least, he delivered. The song is just good lovin', kind of repackaged with some more effects added on, a lot more falsetto. He seems to have evolved as an artist because it's a lot less cheesy than last year's song. Like, this was much more serious. Not a Melodifestivalen winner by any stretch, but certainly, you could see it going sort of top 5 at the final in Sweden. It was like very impressive visually. The song is not that remarkable in itself.
For what it's worth, I think that Dance You Off is infinitely better than the song he had last year. I just couldn't stand it at all, and I actually would happily listen to Dance You Off. Melfest winner, no, like we said, but the staging is like Melfest winning staging. It was like he was trapped inside a music video, and it was just like it didn't look like it was a live stage show at all. And in a way, it was almost disappointing that towards the end the effect was kind of lost because the camera zoomed out and you could see that he was really on the stage, and you kind of lost the impact to a certain extent. But it was by far and away the most polished performance out of all of the acts tonight. What was the strongest song? I'm kind of between that and another one, but yeah, the overall stage show, the performance and the vocals and charisma and everything, he had it.
On to the Andra Chansen qualifiers. First is Renaida, All the Feels. Look, first the positive. I think she's really likable, really happy, energetic, optimistic. Like I couldn't take my eyes off her. I love that her nails matched her like orange accented braids, and then the outfit. When they were first panning down, I just kept seeing all this orange. First the hair, then the nails, then the suit, then the dancers. It was like a creamsicle delight. The song is so-so. Very Spotify friendly, very digital, very... It doesn't have a big climax for me though, and it surprises me. A song called All the Feels should really be like, it should make you want to move and you should want to download it and wait for that moment. I didn't see all that, but I don't care because I like her. And I'm glad she's in the final. Or in Andra Chansen.
Yeah, don't run before you can walk. I thought Renaida was an absolute breath of fresh air. For me, that's where the semi-final actually started. It was the first song that sort of put you in mind of, okay, this is Melodifestivalen and it's the best show in national selection season. And, this is like proof of it. It was very good, very engaging. Kind of Zara Larsson light, it put me in mind of. I've seen quite a lot of people saying that. But yeah, I was just so impressed by her because you have sort of idol alums who can be not like mechanical, but you have someone like Lisa Ajax who is clearly like very calculated, like produced, polished star. Whereas Renaida, she was so like sincere and genuine. Like you could see when she got through, she was properly like over the moon about it, which is nice to see. And yeah, I think it's like a nice competent slice of pop music, and depending on the jewel, Andra Chansen, I wouldn't be surprised to see her make it through to the final.
Yeah, Renaida was my favourite song of the night, and I think she was robbed that she didn't get to the final ahead of John Lundvik. But like it's upbeat, fun, kind of dancey music, and it kind of reminds me a bit like it's a different style, but it kind of has the same effect as Boris René's numbers, that they're fun and simple, and they're nice to have in the final. Like, I can't see her winning Melfest with them, but they make the final that bit more fun and light and a bit boppy, because like if we had all John Lundviks in the final, it would be extremely dull and wouldn't be worth watching. But she brings a bit of personality in life, and I think she definitely deserves to make it out of Andra Chansen. And yeah.
On to the other Andra Chansen act, Sigrid Bernson with Patrick Swayze, the curiously named Patrick Swayze. The opening bars, I was optimistic. I was like, okay, it's bright, it's happy, they're wearing picnic blankets, she's beautiful, I'm gonna get into this. But again, the climax never came. It got monotonous very quickly. It felt very basic. It just didn't give me a wow moment. Towards the end, you have the man, the random spectator climb on stage. I was hoping he'd pull out an Australian flag and bend over and pull a streaker thing, because that would make it more interesting. Instead, he lifted her in the air like Patrick Swayze did in Dirty Dancing. I guess my sense is one of disappointment. Like, at least Edward Blom was fun. It wasn't musical, but like that was fun, whereas this is just generic and a bit boring. I think she's got all the ingredients to be a pop star, the looks, the voice, the moves. Now she needs a song. Angus.
Yeah, I will say in her defense, I do think the chorus is kind of an earworm. That whole like, I'm gonna lift you up. Just like it has that whole catchy iconopop thing to it. So in that respect, that is actually the chorus that stuck with me through the 7 songs. That being said, it's very inconsistent. Like outside of the chorus, the verses feel kind of mispaced. It's like wild changes in tone. And the performance felt a lot more about showcasing her dancing skills than her singing ones. But yeah, I don't know. I was kind of pleased to see this make it over Edward Blom, because it is at least like actually a pop song. I know Krista has his whole theory about like he wants different genres and styles, but to me it should really be about the music, not like a Disney spoof. So yeah, I thought like she has tons of passion and charisma. The song is a bit meh, but the chorus is a real earworm. So she at least has that going for her.
Okay, I have so many issues with this song. Firstly, it was more like the backing singers featuring Sigrid Bernson, because basically she didn't do much heavy lifting at all. They did all the hard work. Secondly, the song was co-written by Peg Parnevik, who's a relatively big pop star in Sweden, and she's had a lot of hits, well, a handful of hits, and I always am suspicious that when a singer with hits isn't singing their own song, it's not a very good song. We saw that with Johnny Saucedo with Molly Sandén back in 2016, and we've seen it again here, I think. Then why sing a song that's a tribute to Dirty Dancing? Like, it's such a cheesy topic just to pick a film, and it's not even a particularly good film. I think it's one of the most overrated films of all time. But anyway, like, it's just so... The one thing that's going for is that it's fun and it's poppy, but it deserves to stay in Andra Chansen. And the only positive I have of this is that I would love for Samir and Victor to go to Andra Chansen, and for the evil dictator mastermind Christer Bjorkman to pair boyfriend and girlfriend against each other and create a bit of drama that way.
That sounds like a great idea. Let's do this. All right. The first eliminated act was Edward Blom singing a song in Swedish about food. Now look, I saw some dancing grapes. I'm sold. I don't know what the hell he was saying. I know he was singing about food. I think if we were Swedish, we might have been in on the joke, because the audience seemed to think it was quite funny. Even if they ranked it fifth, people in the audience were laughing and smiling. So well done him. I think he did as well as he could have expected to do. I don't think anyone thought this was going direct till finale. He made people laugh, and he didn't finish last. And this will help him have another viral hit in the future, I'm sure. So well done.
I mean, I generally did actually think when I saw it that this was going to go to Andra Chansen over Sigrid, because, yeah, I don't know. I thought it was more entertaining than her song. It is like Beauty and the Beast in a Swedish version. I was madly in love with the dancing prawn that was doing like somersaults in the background. I thought that was absolutely excellent. And like the dancing tables. It really was like Beauty and the Beast light. And obviously that was very topical as a film last year. But I am glad it's staying in the semi-final, because I don't... knowing how good Sweden is at doing Eurovision, I think it sort of demeans the brand for these like novelty entries. And also, he looked absolutely terrified. Like, I thought when he started singing, he looked like scared, which is probably because it's a bit different to sing in front of 4,000 people versus like a camera in your living room. So yeah, bottom line, I'm glad he stayed in the semi-final and didn't go further.
He was fun, and I was almost surprised that he didn't progress, because as novelty songs go, he was better than Boogeyman Blues last year, and that went direct to final. So it was kind of surprising that he didn't even make it to Andra Chansen ahead of Sigrid. But yeah, like it's not a loss. He didn't add much to the show. Like, it was 3 minutes of laughing or whatever. But like, once he's gone, you're never going to play the song again.
No, although it does make me want to eat some prawns. Thank you for reminding me, Angus. Then we have in sixth place the first automatically eliminated act, when they do the voting reveal. And that was Kamferdrops. She, of course, almost didn't get to perform, or there were fears she wouldn't get to perform because her song had been online for 8 years. Slip of the mind. This was underwhelming. I expected so much more. I think she was visually arresting, emerging from pink smoke in a pink shining jumpsuit. I liked the saxophone shooting fire. I'm sure that will give Epic Sax guy some ideas. Very strange when she goes in the magic box, is apparently cut in half and underneath a unicorn head. It wasn't trippy in a good way. It was trippy and someone was doing drugs when they were in the creative process way. This needed to go, and it did go. Bye, Angus.
Completely, this was such a disappointment. I mean, you think of the songs in the penultimate slot from the last 2 years, like Wild Child last year, Constellation Prize the year before. Like normally it means something good. There's a lot of hype and expectation, and this was just really odd and underwhelming. I couldn't tell you the melody of the song now. She or like the various clone versions of her all looked absolutely terrified, like they didn't know what they were doing. And yeah, I mean, it was just like a total car crash failure to the point that it was actually like Kikki Danielsson, who everyone was like, oh, that's dead on arrival, actually compared really favorably against this. I find it so bizarre. I don't understand why she got in the running order. I don't know why she was in the competition if this was the song that she brought. And as something that was hailed as like the modern second coming of Schlager, I don't think Charlotte Perrelli has anything to worry about.
Yeah, like it's sad in a way that it ended as it did because her song, I don't know if you've heard it, but she did a cover of Kikki Danielsson, which was huge in Sweden last summer. But this is basically a rip-off of that song that she was trying to kind of rehash her past glories, but it didn't have the same vibrancy and fun factor to it, and it just lacked soul because it was just kind of like she was singing away kind of vaguely melodically and doing all this weird stuff on stage, but there was no hook to it. There was nothing to grab your attention, and even the weird stuff, it was kind of quite tame. It wasn't like that outlandish. It was just like, oh, is she doing that on stage? She's doing some sort of magic trick, but there wasn't like anything to grip your attention. It was just weird and odd and strange, and it had the potential to be so good because like when she was announced, she was a big name, and because it's rare for international pop stars to make it to Melfest, so it was a big deal. And I guess the running order maybe reflected that, but yeah, it was probably the biggest flop on the night.
And on to last place. You don't need to know the singer's name or hear the song to guess what it sounds like. The song Osby Tennessee. This was a tribute to Nashville country music, or not Nashville, Osby, Tennessee. It was a tribute to Osby, Tennessee by Kikki Danielsson, MGP veteran, Melfest veteran, Eurovision veteran, third place at Eurovision. I mean, this woman is a bit of a legend. That said, the song was not legendary. I put it on mute, and I could guess, when I saw the banjo player, the woman in the cowgirl outfit, I knew what this was going to sound like, and it was not impressive. I'm glad she's doing it for older generations, because Melfest does tend to skew a bit young. It's nice to have some variety. But this song was DOA, actually. She did compare favorably to Kamferdrops. But this left, I could not hum me the melody right now, and that's my biggest issue. I do not remember this song. I remember the beautiful shot at the end where her back is to the audience, and you see all the lights. That was lovely. I'm going to bottle that up, and that's how I'm going to remember Kikki.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a song like this in every year of Melfest for like the past 4. Like older singer comes back with a new mature country sound that they've been handed. We had Charlotte Perrelli last year, Pernilla Wahlgren in 2016. Those two singers doing Nonetheless, and it has been the same dreary, terrible
song
doomed
about
to place 7.
Only dead fish swim up the stream or something. You remember that one?
Oh, see, that one I liked. That one I thought was good.
Same genre song.
But that was upbeat, right? My point is, these songs are all like monotonous, dead on arrival, 3-minute long, either Swedish language or just like terrible. And like country can be fun. Like you saw like Mimi Werner a couple of years ago. Like that was how to do country for Melfest and make it work. She didn't make it out because shit happens. Smart. Yeah, I don't know. I feel not bad for Kikki Danielsson because I think this was predictable, and also I think she must have known going into it. She was there just to be like a name. I do think the song itself, the lyrics kind of make it more sincere because I think someone was saying it's all about like trying to find love, and then it's like maybe some people just never find love in this world, which was like quite a sad thing to I don't know. Yeah, she did not deserve to come last place versus Kamferdrops, but there was never any hope of this song advancing out of the semi-final.
Yeah, Kikki knew that herself because if you watch her interview with Kevin on the wiwibloggs YouTube channel, she starts going on about how she's so sad that the modern Melfest doesn't have real music and all that kind of stuff in it. And you only start complaining about there not being real music when your song is clearly in danger of not doing well, because otherwise you're like, oh, this is great, blah, 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 I'm so happy to be here. So she knew she was dead on arrival. But whoever keeps encouraging all these Schlager legends to go and pluck out a banjo and start singing country music needs to be locked up and the key needs to be thrown away. because enough is enough. Like, who are they going to bring back next year? Are they going to have Sanna Nielsen doing it? Like, this is a crisis and they need to stop.
Absolutely. Preach, brother, preach. Now, that is what we think. What do you think? Are you happy with the two songs that went directed to the finale? Are you happy with the songs in Andra Chansen? Did the right acts get eliminated? Let us know here on wiwibloggs.
Make sure to subscribe and hit the notifications button.
And feel free to place your comments below so that we know all your opinions as well.
We'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.